Welcome, everybody. I see some people already joining the stream. It's so good to see you all. I am here for another episode of JavaScript Girl in a .NET world. My name is Alyssa Nicoll.
Alyssa and me are here today, just to share our love and compassion and maybe learn some .NET. If you're watching this with us, or maybe later on recording, we're just trying to learn some of the basics of .NET, and we hope it helps in some way.
Yes, I struggle bust a little bit through. I don't know if you all saw the previous stream with Sam of me trying to get MAUI running on both simultaneously because I thought it was a good idea. My PC and my Mac at the same time, and God bless Sam, he hung in there with me. But we did get it running, and Sam actually is like the MAUI Pro, like MAUI Wizard.
I don't know. I'll try, but I will say a word about that. But before that, chat room, Lorenzo Milotto, yes, we definitely record and put everything up on YouTube within the day or so. So absolutely. And again, just to kind of give folks an idea of how pro we are at what we do. Alyssa last stream had said, "Hey, you've been, doing .NET or MAUI for a year. Do you want to come and help me set it up?" And we spent like a 2-hour stream almost, and we failed. And then we kind of got it to work, and then we tried some very simple data binding, which I wasn't, trying to help. So, I'm just saying we fail a lot. So we're just here to learn together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. I'm trying to pull up my my app. Can you share your blog resource real quick? Because there's so many goodies on, if you're getting started with MAUI, on your Sands of MAUI blog.
Oh, you want that? Okay.
It's just, it's so good. It's so good. And so if anyone else is like in the same struggle bus as me, it's a really good resource to have at the ready. And I'm going to pull up my app.
And since we were talking about data binding, at some point I can show you what I've been trying to do. There's a desire to make that into an app. So if you are kind of new into the whole .NET MAUI update from Microsoft, every Monday we put out an article called Sands of MAUI, which is just me trying to gather everything from the community in one place, and just, it's like a newsletter.
I love it. I think also there was, okay, I want to share. You had shared with me resource, and I think it was actually from the docs itself. And yeah. I don't know why I was struggle busting so hard. I'm going to put you over here and share my screen and show, because as I learn .NET, I'm starting a learning .NET file for, I don't know, how do you have a system when you're learning something totally new, Sam, where you're like, this is the way that I will keep organized? It's kind of a hot mess of like shortcuts and other things chat has taught me. Like you told me at one point, hey, you're gonna need to update your workload. So I was like, I better make a note of that.
Yeah. No, however it works, whatever is our cheat sheet. I do keep a lot of the commands that I use, GitHub, or
you do have a cheat sheet, yeah.
Simply .NET commands. I do keep them around for quick reference.
Center, blah, 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 blah. Center. Okay, we're going to CD to development. And I have a JavaScript girl in the .NET world. And so I started a MAUI Blazor one, but I think what I want to do is just work in just like desktop MAUI world.
Sure.
For now, unless you have other preferences.
No, that's fine. Before you start though, Alyssa, that hide button, my OCD was going to keep
I love it. I was on a 1-hour stream where the presenter never pressed it. It was good. It was good stuff. It was like right in the middle of their slides too. Like it was.
Yeah, it's never fun. Full Schnabel, good to see you. Good to see you.
Hey, Fuel. Okay, I'm gonna make this bigger. Okay, so let me go ahead and just show you around. I've got some red because it wasn't, okay. I was trying to do some data binding because one of the first things I learned when I learned Angular was data binding, like how to make, and maybe it's called something different in .NET,
No,
but
data binding.
it's like you have a variable and you want to bind that variable in the template, in the DOM, wherever it's rendered, and show it. And I just wanted to show a variable. That's all I wanted to do. And what is wrong with me, Sam? What is wrong? Okay,
No, there's nothing. Why don't we first?
I need
try
to run it.
running
So
that?
I'm looking
Yeah.
down at my cheat sheet here that I'm just going to make bigger. And I've
Your
got
Mac
these
Catalyst
guys. Can I
build.
do this one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Mac Catalyst, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to build it. And then it's going to have an issue with me because I was just, have you ever just like tried to write code and like just guess at syntax? Like, I think, and you're like, yeah, that's a real thing. Like, that's what I was trying to do. Oh yeah. Cause I wanted to see like if I could, we'll see what it yells at us for.
Well, I think you had started the build before you changed the line of code, or did you do that after?
I did. What happens? What happens in that case?
Depends on what time it picks up the file.
Oh. Okay, will it hot reload it though? Wait, I don't know what face you're making. I'm gonna go pull up the stream. Hang on 1 second. Okay, make it again. Make it again. Will it hot reload it?
No, well, it was a sigh. It was just a sigh because
why?
I feel bad because you are trying to be brave and you are coming in hot into the .NET world. Don't mention hot reload. Yes, so essentially there are differences in your developer experiences if you are on Windows Visual Studio as compared to Mac, which is where you are at with VS Code and command line tools. That experience doesn't work as well. So expect it to not work. Hot reload.
I'm confused. Are you saying if I was on my PC, I would have hot reload?
Yes.
Well, huh?
Yes, because these are all preview.
I just assumed it was like a desktop thing. Like desktop people don't believe in hot reload, but you're saying it's
no, it works everywhere.
Thing? Okay.
No, so when you talk about .NET MAUI, right now, the state of the world is the runtime is almost ready, and tooling on Windows is getting ready. It's preferable on Mac, then hot reload works when consistent not working as Windows sometimes works. Yeah, well. In particular, if you look at just the .NET MAUI side of things, then hot reload works on Windows right now. Yes. There are ways to make it work on a Mac. It's just not consistent. So
I just assumed it was kind of like a built-in bit with .NET, but you're saying based on where you're running, it does matter. So like they have to build that for each thing.
Oh, okay. The tooling is not quite ready, especially on the Mac.
It's hard for me to know, like, because I come from the JavaScript world, and I feel like it's with the web, it's all very, here's your web bubble, right? And like you can do web bubbly things. And so it's really hard for me to know what's tooling, what's, what I should expect to be there. What's still like a silly question versus, because to me, I'm like, wait, is that, I have no idea where that's coming from. I don't know who does the hot reloading in Angular. I don't know. Like,
exactly what you said. Like you're sandboxed. You're protected when you're writing web apps. As long as you have an evergreen browser, you can depend on the framework to do its thing. But here, you got multiple things at play. You got a desktop OS, you got a mobile OS. So tooling in particular, when it kind of watches the files and watches the components and pushes out only the bits that have changed, that tooling does depend on which platform you're running on.
Yeah, Phil was saying in JavaScript, Mac is the primary choice. So it is not the other way. Like in .NET, Mac is not the primary choice.
Another loaded question. So
what? Is it really?
So if you step back to 5-6 years back, 2015. Prior to 2015, you didn't have .NET on or .NET anywhere outside of Windows. It was very Windows specific .NET framework. So you always wrote .NET apps for Windows on Windows using Visual Studio. But since .NET Core is out for about 6-7 years now, .NET is cross-platform. Like officially, there are other ways in which you can make it cross-platform before. So you can now do modern .NET on Mac or Windows. It's the same, but here you're talking about very preview early bits, and the tooling for this is just not ready on a Mac.
Okay. I'm trying to find you gave me a really cool basics binding, this doc.
I can point you to a few things.
But also, do you know why I'm getting yelled at? Like very, very loud yelling.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
No, nothing. This is again just the tooling. Because this is unofficial, what you're doing here, the tooling is not meant to handle .NET MAUI projects yet. So when you see those squigglies under initialized component, so essentially, let's kind of step back and then do some basics here. So in your solution, you see there are a couple of things. There is a main page.xaml, and then you see a main page xaml.cs. Do you see it on your left?
You want these? You want this?
Yeah, exactly.
This?
So this is XAML. This is the markup. This is the visual tree for
XAML's like the cooler sister of HTML, right?
Essentially, it's XML with some added benefits. So this is the visual tree. This is the markup for your page, right? And this is scanned at build time, but some of the objects in there are not initialized until at runtime, because that's when you are actually rendering the stuff. And then if you look at main page XAML.cs, that is called the code behind.
Code behind, right?
Yep, exactly. Now you're getting the terminology.
Does everybody have a code behind? Like if I'm in Blazor app, if I'm in this MAUI desktop app, if I'm in, like, not everybody has this .cs thing?
No, you may or may not. Blazor, you can choose not to have it. Even in XAML, you can choose not to have it, but then XAML doesn't have any code. XAML is all visual declarations. Yeah, markup benefits, exactly. So XAML does not do conditional formatting. XAML does not do loops. XAML does do description of the visual tree and data binding. So those are
Hang on, you lost me there. You just said XAML doesn't do loops.
XAML does not do loops.
Okay, so I've got
if you want to do a for loop, you cannot write that in XAML.
Hang on, how do we get around that? Hold. I guess you just do the
write
loop
it in
and
your
the
code behind,
and then
yes, yeah, exactly.
But then your template might be more verbose than it would have been otherwise, right?
Because
it's like
you cannot do some things in XAML. Period. Like you cannot do conditional logic. You cannot do loops in XAML.
Wait. Is this like a forever, or like are they going to change it? Like, wait.
No, this has been what it is forever.
Can you show me how you do something like an ng if then? Wait, how? Show me. Can you show me? I want to see.
Okay, hold on. So when you say if else logic, that kind of conditional logic or loops, what I'm saying, that always belongs in your code behind. Because the XAML is kept intentionally clean, and that's kind of how it's always been. It's only meant to describe your visual tree. And then everything that you do to that visual tree programmatically, that goes in your code behind, right? So when you see those squigglies, essentially that's VS Code getting a little confused, because when you do a build, it actually does a little bit of code generation behind the scenes, and it tries to match up the main page. You see that's a partial class. So it's trying to match up the main page with the content page or the visual tree part of your UI, and then it instantiates those objects at runtime. I'm telling you way more than you need to know to get this working, but I'm just kind of giving you the basics. I should know
if are we like, is there a point where you're like, hush now, VS Code, or do you just ignore them? Like, what do you do?
For now, you can ignore them, because these are, we are on uncharted territory in terms of .NET MAUI support. You will not get those squigglies if you were on Visual Studio on Windows.
Okay, I gotcha. I opened this did I open this in the right thing? I'm in Visual Studio Code. Is that okay, or should I be in something else?
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
And the whole reason for this is the official IDE and VS Code will work, but Visual Studio for Mac is going through a big rewrite. So that's why tooling on the Mac side is a little slow compared to tooling on Windows.
So I made this public string here, and it's something, and then I was like, ooh, let's put it here.
You want the text of the label? Yes. Okay.
What did I do wrong? Oh, should I?
No.
I don't know. I tried like 12 different versions of this label, and it's like angry. I just copy pasted this label here. So what I'm wondering is, like, are there like IDs that are unique or something that I can't just?
You can't just have two labels right there. So you don't need the second label. We can do it in the first one. So you can take out the second label because or take out one of them. So
How many rows are
essentially,
in a grid?
any number that you want. Scroll up and you can see how many they have added.
Where?
This is a
This?
grid, and I don't think they have defined the number of grids. So you can just
Wait
keep
a
adding.
minute. Is this a XAML grid? Whose grid is this?
It's a XAML grid.
It's a XAML grid. So if I Google XAML grid, there'll be docs on how to add things to my XAML grid.
Well, when you say XAML grid, here the XAML is defining the markup. So it's a .NET MAUI grid that you're using.
It's .NET MAUI grid. Okay. And so when you say grid, because there's like a billion different definitions for the word grid.
Yes.
Some people mean data grid. Some people mean like a CSS grid, like a layout grid. Like this is like, I'm assuming it's like a table, right? Like is what I'm making.
It is a layout. So pull up a browser, a fresh browser, window. So
pull up a browser. I will give you a beautiful large browser.
So
do you want me to Google it?
Do a search on .NET
MAUI grid
docs.
Oops, I spelled it wrong. I found this one. It's called grid layout. That's not what?
No,
is this what I'm using?
Kind of. You accidentally fell in the .NET MAUI docs. So what
you're saying like face planted into the MAUI dock?
it's not a bad thing. So essentially what you're looking at, you see the hierarchy on the left, you're looking at user interface docs, and every mobile or
Code with Sean's making a joke. He's funny. He's very funny.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, wait, what you're angry that I made it to these docs? These aren't the docs
No.
Are these not the docs we're looking for?
No, this is where you want to be. So when you look at mobile or desktop, every UI, every view that you're looking at is a page, especially for XAML. Everything is a page. And within the page, you have different layout controls, which control how you are laying down the UI for that page. So what you're looking at here are some basic layout controls. Like you can have an absolute layout, which means your pixel perfect layout. You're positioning them exactly where they need to be. Or you can have things that flow. Or you can have things like a stack layout, which you stack things up, horizontally.
Confused. Wasn't this created before the web? And if so, why are they naming their layouts based off of CSS layout?
Because CSS borrowed some things from desktop.
Are you sure, or was CSS first? Who came first, Sam?
It's
the absolute layout or absolute positioning in CSS? I need to know.
Desktop has been around for 22, 23 years. And
okay,
the web probably started.
But back then, was it called absolute layout, or did they name it that because of CSS? Whenever CSS came
around. Desktop was first. And the grid and the layout system has been, much more done or well thought out for the web. But this is what we have. It is, flex, it's grid, it's stack, it's absolute or flowing layout. So these are some layout controls.
But correct me or if I'm wrong, but this has nothing to do with CSS, correct?
No, it's got nothing to do with CSS. It's just how you lay down the UI for your pages. So when you are using the grid, essentially, this is the grid that you're using. It's a .NET MAUI grid. Yeah.
We did invent the helicopter. Hey, Bindle.
Yep.
Okay, so this is a .NET MAUI grid.
Mm-hmm.
And he was given to me by the gods by default.
Because you are using a default template. So
I could do this?
No, because there's we'll have to look it up.
No.
You have to look it up to make sure the name is exactly what it is. I'm sure it's not called Flex.
But I don't have to have a grid. I could just replace him with something else, right? Like
this. Yeah, totally. You can do a stack layout. You can do,
Hey, I hear stack layouts are like the coolest thing ever.
They can be. I use them quite a lot, but they have some downsides.
What? Name one.
Especially if you are stacking things, you have to have some boundaries on your, like how far they can grow, especially if you're doing loading on demand. Because if you are not giving them a boundary,
Yeah.
the scrolling kind of gets messed up because it just
Oh.
keeps on stacking. And so you just need to be aware of some of the boundaries of your
Okay.
child controls.
I gotcha. So this is so cool. So these are dotNET MAUI layouts for your pages that you can define and customize. And then my label, I just really, like you were saying, we can't have two labels on grid row 0. So I only have one now.
Not just two labels. You just can't have two things unless you're creating a different column, right? So a grid.
Two columns like this, they're sitting side by side.
Yes, exactly. So a grid, if you forget what the complexity of a data grid is made of rows and columns. It's just like a table, right? So when you start off, you have nothing, and then you can keep adding more rows, and then you can keep adding more columns to it. But you cannot stick two UI views into the same row and the same column. Essentially, you have to kind of have it.
I think anyone who starts numbering something in the view with 0 is ballsy. That's what I think. Yeah.
Welcome back to HTML layouts. Yes. Okay. Since you're just starting out, I advise you not to change the columns of the rows. Just stick with what they have because you're trying to get some basic data binding to work.
He hates my ideas.
No, we can absolutely do rows and columns, but just look through the code and see what they're doing. So you see that there's a label right down there, which has a grid or row of 0. Then the next label is grid row 1. Then the next label is 2, 3. So it says it's a 0-based indexing system, and you're just like laying things down row after row. So when you run it, all of them just show up right under each other. Right. Okay. So this grid doesn't have any definition to it, except for it has 5 rows, and each row has a unique piece of UI that's stuck in it. Okay. Now label. Back to the label. You have a simple property called something, and you want to bind that to the label. What you're running into is what is called basic data binding, and you can go look at the docs for this, but in data binding in XAML, there's always 2 sides. There is a source and there's a target.
Yeah, I saw that. This is what this is talking about. The target is the object on which the binding is set. The source is the reference. Is this like the same way of saying like this is the code behind and this is the template?
No, the other way around. So the target is
are you sure? Wait, what? Hold on.
The target is almost always the UI. So the UI part that you are binding to, and the source is your C# object that you're binding from.
Okay.
Right. So essentially what you have right now, and then in their example, they do a view to view binding. So they have a label and they have a slider, and if you want, we can do this, but I can also show you how to do that simple thing that you're trying to do.
This guy.
You are missing a little piece called the glue. Right. So if you go up to in this XAML file, you have a main page XAML, right? You see that X class on the top. So very top, it says content page.
This is like, who needs a sidebar that big? Like nobody needs that.
Exactly.
Okay. So the very top, you're saying this?
Yep, exactly. So hold around right there for a second. So the first thing you see is a content page, and it doesn't need to be a content page. It can be a couple of other different things, but a content page is essentially XAML's way of saying this is a page that renders some content, right? That's just a content page. Within that, you have something called XML-NS, which stands for XML namespace, and they look like URIs, but there's nothing in those pages. It's essentially a versioning way. So there are a few versions of XAML which have like specs to them. So essentially you're saying, I want to do the 2009 XAML spec. Essentially, it's just a way of versioning things or aligning to a certain
just like
definition.
SVG, because SVG has defined namespaces too.
Yeah, exactly. The next one you see is the X class of main page, right? So what that is doing is giving you that binding to say, when you instantiate this main page from my code behind, also know that there's a visual side to it that's in my XAML. Okay, but there is nothing telling your label that it needs to be bound to that certain property. If you simply do a binding of something, it just doesn't know how binding to what, right? You are giving it a very specific property, right? But it doesn't know what that something is, right?
You're saying I have to give it its type?
No, you have to associate. You can, and there are a couple of ways in which we can associate. I'll show you maybe two types. So right under the label where it says text binding something, add another line. Give your label a name, right? So add another line and just say X. Hold on. It's not name. It's X : name.
Whoa.
And give it, say, Alyssa's label.
Is everything going to be X : Can we ever, is this optional?
Not up there, but then you can, it's a prefix, right? So then you can bring in your own namespace and you can call it whatever you want. But some of the basics, like the namespaces have to be X, because that's kind of how always XAML has been. So give your label a name. Let's say whatever, Alyssa's label.
Is it like this or what?
Yeah,
does it have to be capital camel?
No, it doesn't matter. And while we were talking, Code with Sean has the exact definition. Target is where the data is going to. Exactly right. Source is where the data is coming from. And almost always the target, since that's where the data is going to, it's almost always the UI. The source is your business object. It's your C# object.
You were saying, though, that the example in the docs was going from template to template. Does that mean that the source is coming from a template, or no, it's coming from a code behind and then through a template to a template?
It can be all of those things. So you can actually do a view to view. So in the docs, they had a slider and they had a label. And in that case, the slider was the source and the label was the target, because you were able to move the slider around and see its value in the label. So it can be, a couple of different things. It's relative, exactly. So now you've given your label a name, right? So now you can go to your code behind file.
This guy? And do I talk to my label in here?
But in your constructor, you see that public main page? That's the constructor. That's how the OS comes in. Do you know how this is being bound to, right? And maybe I can show you after this. But do a this. You may want to do a this, which is not the same as the this in JavaScript, but this, my label.
Not? Okay, my label.
Dot. Binding context.
Should it be auto-suggesting it? Is it like, are we worried that it doesn't know about it, or no, we're not worried?
No, it's just tooling that is broken. So you should have IntelliSense, but you don't.
This dot my label dot binding, you said what? Context?
Binding context, but with a capital B, capital C. Equals. No, it's not a function. Yep, equals this.
This?
And you don't need just this. And semicolon. That's it. So what you're explicitly saying, and this is like really a bad way of doing this, but I just want to show you, like, this is the glue. This is where you're telling it, for my label, the binding reference, the source is this file, right?
Is this file. For my label, the binding reference is this file.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it'll work, but let's, try another Mac Catalyst build.
Oh,
see if it does.
Did it not build last time? No, it did build. Why did it quit? Why is it not running? Is it still running? Sam, I'm confused.
Look in your, you can,
no,
I don't think
this is running. Like, I can be like, bleep, bleep, bloop.
Yeah, this is because the build is done and it's created a Mac Catalyst project. So you can close this down. And then start another build.
If I left that going and then started this again, would it quit that and then?
No, it'll just give you another one.
Really? It'll just oh, that's funny. Oh, no.
And you got a whole bunch of red. So make that command line bigger so we can see what's going on.
Full screen, let's read our error. Occurred with the parsing of the... It hates all the symbols that I've used. Was it this? Was it because I did this weird binding thing? Do you want me to get rid of that?
Oh, no. That needs to be in double quotes.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, the whole thing. Because these are all values that you're setting. All right.
Let's see. So I'm going to go check this. You're saying these are all values. So I think I think that makes sense. I think it's
It's not barking at you. It's trying to do a build.
yay. Is there any other kind of desktop app I can spin up? Because we're doing Mac Catalyst, but I guess I could spin up a Windows. No, I can't do that. Can I do that?
Not on Mac. No.
Not on a Mac.
But the same project, like the .NET MAUI solution that you have, if you look at your, and by the way, your build finished. So, there it is. But it's still not doing the binding. Okay, we'll get to that. But you can close this down. But look into your .NET MAUI project structure. You see that folder called platforms on the left in your solution. So that has the 4 things: iOS, Android, Windows, and Mac. So this is a multi-targeted project, so you can do a build for each one of those platforms.
Will I ever be able to run this on this machine?
Not on a Mac. No, you can't run Windows apps on a Mac, on desktop.
Just like never? I will never be able to do this?
Nope.
Are you sure? That's not going to be a thing? Okay. All right. I'll give that up. Okay.
You could. I wouldn't say never, because I run Mac, and I run a VM on a Mac that has my Windows VM inside of it, and I can launch Windows apps on a Mac, but that's not normal. We're crossing platform boundaries.
Fuel's saying something about weasels.
Yeah, that is multiverse and
multiverse.
Funny when
you guys are getting meta with me.
No, this is multiverse. So
okay. On here, I'm not confident at all that I did this line correct. Are you? You're fine with me putting this binding here, and it's inside the squiggles. And
it should be, but we'll get to that. To Foolish Neville's point, WSL. Have you heard of this? It's Windows subsystem for Linux, essentially. So you can run a subsystem of it, especially Android apps. Android simulators take forever to kind of pull up. Now you can continuously run a subsystem and just deploy Android apps much quicker if you're running on Windows. Yeah,
that's cool. Is this new then, or no?
It's relatively new in Windows 11. Okay, so take that binding out and just say hello world, and let's see if we broke anything, or if it's was it something to do with just hello is fine. And run that, and we'll see what we broke.
Is there anything that I could do to make this faster? Like, is there something that because it starts up and it's building and stuff, and it's like, is it because of my machine or no?
Well, a couple of things. One is you're sharing screen, which makes your GPU work a little harder. But even if you are not, if you're just doing a build, no, unfortunately, there is not much you can do to fast things up right now. Again, had you been doing this on Windows, you would not have to kill the app. You can just keep the app running.
Oh, and then like if I make a change and save it, it redoes it. It reloads that. Okay, so hello's there. So it is. It's mad there, with my this.
Yeah,
it's really unhappy. Is it because it's lowercase?
Yeah. So make sure.
Do I need to uppercase? Well, I mean, because count was lower, so I thought I could get away with it.
No. Something is fine. Why won't you print? Okay, so you got a public string.
You think it's because I have a tick in there? Like you don't think it's
no, it doesn't matter.
No. Is won't short for will not?
It is.
Dude.
Okay, do this for me. Instead of we just need the getters and setters. Something is fine, then something is really wrong. Okay. Copy this whole line of code. This whole public string something. Copy this whole line and just keep it. And in the first line, change that where you set the why will you not print? Change, get rid of that whole thing in the first line. Get rid of it, and the double quotes. Public string something, exactly. But then after something, open up braces, and open and close braces. And nope, not those. Those are parentheses. Braces in .NET are the curly braces. Yep. Inside of it, say get.
Semicolon. semicolon.
Not with a sub.
Can we put it like this?
Semicolon, exactly, and set semicolon. You're using a colon, not a colon.
I'm
semicolon.
with you now. I thought we were gonna define it here, like get something something.
So
set something
that's it.
something. No,
No,
just saying get and set. Can you hear that?
Yep, just that exactly. Now get rid of the second line, or maybe just copy your string. Why will you not print? And inside of your main page constructor, after initialize component. Yep, exactly. So say something equals why will you not print?
This dot something or just something?
Just something should be fine here. And now you can initialize. I'm just trying to see if setting it will make a difference. Okay, so let's run this.
Okay, so we instantiated it, and then inside of the constructor, we're setting its value after the component's been initialized. I assume that's important.
Let's try it.
It's running. It's thinking. It's doing its running thing.
You may have to set the data context instead of the binding context, but if it doesn't work, we'll change it.
Oh, you're saying change this to data potentially?
Yeah.
Okay. So
because on the XAML side, if you had to do this data binding, we set the data context. So yeah, I think it's data context, not binding context. My bad.
Let me go back here and try data context, and then I'm going to restart because I didn't save the template. And so this, I don't think was updated. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I was so grumpy. Label does not contain a definition for data context. Did I do that wrong? Data context. No,
you did that right. Wait a second. What is it? Is it? I'm trying to set binding. Fullschnabel and go to John. Let me know if you know something off the top. I'm just trying to set the binding of the whole thing. Hold on.
Rotation elements, binding mode, binding path, binding value converters, string formatting. I want to bind the text. I want to see it in my label. This says X name label, text. So that's not binding anything.
It should be the binding context, actually. We just hit the troll. I think it's the binding context, actually.
Mode property of binding markup, default two-way, one-way. Oh, two-way data goes both ways. Yeah, that's what we want. We want more of that in our life. Two-way bindings.
We'll get to two-way binding.
Text, property of editor, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, go back to data context and do a build, because we changed a couple of things and you said it wasn't picking up.
I'm happy about data context. You want me to change it back to binding context?
Yeah, binding context.
Okay. I will change it back to binding context, and I will run a build.
And then I will. The file? Did you save the file? Mm-hmm. Yes, I think so. Mm-hmm. All right.
It seems pretty satisfied with life. Is this Sam? Do you know if it in Angular they added this thing where if you make a change and then you rebuild, it only changes the things that were affected? Does this work that way?
Yeah.
How does this work?
So what you're talking about is in the web world, you have node services running, and you have Webpack, which essentially wait, why is it printing the hello thing again? Because
we're still binding. I'm confused. Wait, what? Oh, hang on.
No.
We changed. No, where's hello?
Where is it getting the hello from? You have unsaved code changes. That's going to be the only thing. Make sure you save everything, and there's no hello anymore.
Is there not? Are we sure? Fine.
No, there's no hello.
I don't remember how many L's I had. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, you don't have it. So it's just picking up an older build.
I saved all the files. How do I make it manually,
Control
like, is there
save.
like,
You're doing command save, right?
I guess, yeah. I mean, none of these look like they'll have the little, like, watch if I like blah blah blah, blah and then like my X changes to a dot. None of them have dots, so I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
How, is there like a way of saying like clear the cache of my builds?
No, this one, yes, there is. So go and bring up Finder.
Finder, we love
And
you.
can you find
Finder.
where this project is?
Project development.
Your son is
Yep.
super cute, by the way.
And then Maui, and then like make this. Can I zoom in this and make this bigger?
Code with
Can't you
Sean
Command
and
Plus?
Phil Schnabel are competing to distract us.
Oh, if I can distract the stream with random comments. Yeah,
so
it's not a hard life goal, Sean.
In your MAUI project, you see that bin folder?
I want to make this bigger. What isn't Command Plus how you make these bigger? Oh, it's so it is. I figured it out, Sam. Guess what?
Okay. Grab that whole bin folder and just move it to trash.
Oh,
that's what's being built every time. Okay. Now you're blown away with it. Yeah,
Let's watch it be built. Oh, did you see that? It created itself. That was so nifty. How's your day? How's your day going, Sam?
Busy, but I'm just looking at the watch while you said that. I may have to run in about half an hour. So.
Oh yeah, I have a hard stop at the top of the hour. So.
Okay. Let's try to get basic stuff working.
I really just want to see a variable print in a template. Like I feel like that's not a big ask, but apparently
you're stuck.
My brain was not ready.
No, you're stuck with somebody. There you go. Who doesn't know what they're doing.
Wait, okay, hang on. It's printing. Hang on, we have to go and examine our lives. 1 second. You did this, and then you said that, and then you put it there, and then over here you had me put this in strings, and I'm not entirely sure this is needed. So,
don't do that. Don't do that.
No, you're right. It is needed because we're saying this dot my label.
Exactly.
Actually, okay, one of these should not be needed. Okay, here's the thing.
So for now,
in Angular, you can be like, blup, here's my variable. And as long as you're setting that variable, it'll print the variable, right? So here, this is my confusion. Why are both things needed? Because it's like we're setting it in two different places. I'm setting the text here, I'm also setting it here.
You're not setting the text because they're two different things. One is the my label is essentially the name of the text, so we could refer to that text box or that label in particular and set the binding. I'm just trying to get you to the basics. So it did print, but now we can clean up. So get rid of this line, this my label, or you can just like comment it out for now. And that whole thing we did with something and putting a getter and setter, you don't need that either, but I just wanted to make sure.
Can I do this part? You think this will work?
Yeah, this will work. All right, now let's do another way of doing something. Go back to your XAML.
And going back to my XAML.
You don't need to clear out the bin folder every time. You just probably had some, something stuck in there. Okay, now naming the label and on an individual. So when I say a view, essentially everything is a view. Each control is a view essentially. So setting a name on a control and just doing binding context on a control is not efficient, obviously, because you will have many other views. So you want to do it once and do it all through, right? Channel, have you been using MAUI? Okay, I see you're asking code with Sean. Yeah. So get rid of that X name of my label from your label.
Is that proper or it's angry? It's angry.
No, it's fine. Right. No, that's fine. And why do I see another build kickoff for you? What's that white window behind you?
I just wanted to see if it would work. It didn't work. Okay. Ignore me.
Okay. All right. Now go up to your on your XAML file. Go all the way up before you have the scroll view. Right after you have that secondary color on the background color. See that?
Yes.
You want to type another line. No. After it closes. No. It's after it closes because that's just the opening, tag. So next line.
You don't want
after
me
it
to be inside
closes.
of content page.
Yes, exactly. After it closes. Yep, exactly. Come on down. And now you say content page within a, tag. No, tag. You open a tag.
I thought it would autocomplete.
Yeah, it would normally, but no, it's not.
Does it do like that?
Hold on.
I don't actually see a closing content page. We're nesting content pages? That's possible?
No. Do content page dot binding context. And let me make sure I get you the right syntax for that, because I don't want to drive you down a different path or kind of a wrong way of doing things. And actually, you can look this up as well, so you get some practice as well. So pull up the MAUI docs, and I'll show you what I'm looking for. Scroll down here for a second. Let's see, binding mode. Keep scrolling. Okay, a little up, right where you had the XAML.
The XAML?
Yep.
I don't. This?
Nope, a little bit further down.
Down?
Because this is again setting stuff. And keep going.
One way to source. Scale slider, text equals text, binding source. This guy? That's chunky.
Wait, I'm not looking at stuff. No, not that. I'm trying to show you the way to do this once in your entire. Okay, so I see it here. Okay, so go all the way up onto this page. And actually, no, stop right there. Actually, that's what I want. Yeah, exactly.
So, the binding context. So this is binding to the slider, the view model, color view model.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. So copy that line of code.
Okay. And then we've got here.
Yep. Now, take out that color view model thing, but keep the local.
And then we need to do
MAUI main page.
MAUI main page. Was it? Sorry, I'm just seeing what they had. They had it like this. MAUI, like lowercase.
No, just the way you define the class up there, where you say X class.
MAUI
so you're pointing it. Exactly. You're pointing it to that class to say that is my binding context. Do you understand the difference here? Now, like we did the binding context for just one label, right? But then you will have to repeat that for every label that you put on the view. This is your way of saying for whatever UI I put on this page, that is my binding context.
I guess, sense? But it's still gonna, we're taking away the part where we had to do, what was it? What was it? It was binding.
You're talking about the X name?
Context, X name. So I want to have that as a reference. Was it this? I don't remember how we had it.
Yeah, X name is a value, so you can name it whatever you want.
What did we have? I can Command Z. I just don't remember how.
No, just my label. That doesn't.
Oh, the binding context is inside the code behind.
Yes. So if you want to keep that X name, it doesn't hurt. You just keep it there. Yeah.
And then this up here, you're saying, no, is setting this binding for us everywhere?
Mm-hmm. So what you just did was you're setting the binding context of the entire content page to that class, which is main page. Okay. So again, make sure you save all the things and let's run it again and see if this will work.
But we removed the, it's super unhappy with me. What did I do? Parsing local is undeclared. Okay. Local, this one. It's unhappy about this.
Hold on, I'm not looking at your screen. Yes.
Let me see if do they have something in here like this namespace that allows us to use local?
Yeah.
Should I plop that in there?
Yeah, grab that.
And then
now just no. Hold on. Don't run it.
I wouldn't.
You're too quick. See that where it says data binding demos, change
Yeah.
that to whatever is the name of your namespace. Like, what is the name of your app? That.
How do
You
we
don't know
find
what that
that
name
out?
is.
I don't know. Is it here? Maui?
Yeah, it's Maui. And
Do you think that's
this,
like a taken namespace
it
that's
could
going to
be,
be
but it should be
pretty
fine
upset
here.
with me? You think it'll work?
Let's try. Make sure you save. But do you, what is it?
I can't resolve the namespace or the type CLR namespace. Was I supposed to change something else about it? Because this clear namespace part, that's okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That is fine.
Do you think it's mad at me for naming it Maui? I mean, I'm kind of mad at me for naming it Maui, so I wouldn't, blame it. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know.
No,
Let me
it's
see.
fine. I don't
Namespace, binding, data binding
it's
demos.
gonna be.
They don't have any other special bits up here that I see. Color, blah, blah, blah. HSL color view model. Rename to meow. Okay, so Sean, I was thinking about renaming it, but if I rename it, it's not just as simple as like, boom, you're meow, right? Like I have to find everything that uses that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I thought. Oh.
All right, so I'm putting you to sleep. This is great progress.
No.
We at least got,
My
to
mother-in-law,
page,
God bless
right?
her, she's painting my bed white.
Oh.
So we had to move my mattress upstairs and we slept in the TV, the room upstairs, and it's just kind of, I mean, sleeping, it's just rough. It was rough, Sam. I'm struggle bussing. Okay, let me see. Well, I did do this.
Actually, hold on for a second. So, just get rid of that CLR namespace entirely. Just call it Maui. Let's see.
I'm trying to find the page. Where are we?
It's in your just XAML.
There it is.
No, not that.
This one.
That one.
Just
call
you
it
should when we say Maui.
Yeah.
Wonder what the CLR namespace thing is for.
That is to bring out any assemblies. So, for example, if I'm bringing Telerik bits into it, that's living in a separate CLR is short for common language runtime. So that's pointing to a different assembly. Okay, it's not able to resolve that Maui because it doesn't know what it is. Okay.
Do you think I should real quick spin up a new app, not name it Maui, and just see if I can get like this local namespace, the local LinkedIn right there with the namespace? You want me to try that real quick?
No, I don't think it's messing with just the name Maui. Yeah, I mean,
let me try real quick.
Kind of
I'm gonna go up and then chat. Let me know if you have anything that we should try. I'm gonna go up and I'm here. So I'm going to. How do I do this? .NET new Maui.
You can do a make directory first.
I forget that it doesn't do that for you. Sorry,
no, I'm
used to.
But just you have to do a -O for output, and then it creates a directory for you.
Meow.
Code with Sean. She's sticking to your MAUI.
You should never stop saying that word. That makes me supremely happy. .NET new. I'm just totally. Can I do that? Is that fine?
You don't need all caps here. You can just all caps.
Don't you do this to me? No.
It's a command line. We're not branding. We're not. Yeah. The command line tools are. It's done.
And then I'm gonna say VS Code, and I want to real quick grab this. I just want to grab this whole thing. I'm gonna put this whole thing in the main page here.
No. There are a lot of differences in that whole thing. Don't grab the whole thing.
Don't grab the whole thing. Just go ahead and grab this local chunk here, and we'll change it to meow. This one. Let's make it that big, please. I don't. Leave me alone. How do I XAML? Is this the right?
XAML. Nope, that's app XAML.
This one. Main page. Go away, app XAML. Okay. You, and then meow. think it was 3. Was it 3 or 2? It was 3. And then you I also want to do this. Yeah. And at this point, can we just test it to see if it yells at us?
Hold on for a second.
Oh wait, not Maui. I need to change it to meowi. That was funny. Sam, it was funny.
Well, actually, you don't need the meowi twice because you have already mentioned the local. So get rid of the content page binding context, or just like, comment that out, and let's see if it understands the XML namespace of local. Yeah, just
okay. I need to remember. I'm just going to go back here because do you have this memorized? Tell me you have this memorized. Do you have this memorized? No, you type it. You type this whole thing out. You type the 6 and the dot and the 0.
No, because you are in Z shell. It remembers. So I just go up, up.
Just go up until it. Yeah. Okay, that makes me feel a little better. Okay.
So it's not barking at you. It's building at least.
You think we're past the danger zone?
Let's see.
The danger zone. It's gonna be really funny if it's not working because I named it Maui.
Yeah, you can understand. Like, that is literally the name of.
No, I know. I didn't even. I was just like, it's a Maui app. What am I gonna name it? Maui, obviously. Ugh. Yeah.
Code with Sean. See you around. Thanks for.
Bye.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, we're gonna be wrapping soon. But I'm assuming it's happier with us.
It's happier. Yeah. So while it's building, like, this is just 101 data binding, right? We just have a property that's a source, and we are binding it to a target. Next time round, we can try, view to view data binding, which is, you got one label and you update it there. You want it to be updated on the next one. And then we're going to get into something called, which is, always tricky. With the two-way data binding, it doesn't come free. And I'll tell you like what you need to do. Okay, so you're up and running.
It totally works. So I'm going to move things over to meowi, right? Like I can grab my label.
Much. Yeah, and you didn't change anything in the label. So
yes, you did.
Just go. No, it was just the binding something.
Look at all this I changed.
Okay. All right, copy that out.
All right, I'm in meowi, and I'm going to use is it Command Shift P? Yeah, I'm going to use this. And give me your favorite color, Sam.
Purple.
It's already purple. Darn it. Maybe it'll change it to a different purple. Yeah, change it to a different purple. Okay, so that way I can tell the two projects apart, because I was like, whoa. Okay, so we're going to do our new label, and I'm going to comment out this label because I'm commandeering its space in the layout. And then, wow, I did not want to do that. And then I'm just going to grab some of the logic, because we also.
And hold on. And you want to copy that something out. That's all you need.
Yeah, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Okay. And then let's go ahead and create it. Oh no. Why did it do that?
Control C, you got rid of the constructor.
Did I? Whoa, that was weird. Okay. Also, it really likes like big spacing. Is that a thing? Like, is that?
No, it's showing you the references, but you took away the constructor, so do a couple more Control Z's.
Oh, I understand what happened. Okay.
Yes. All right. Gotcha. Now go back to your XAML for a second. Hold on. Don't run it yet. Go back to your XAML. I feel like you're like, you're eager and you're wanting to build. I'm like, no, hold on. You have to be like an old man
like me. Bad, Alyssa. Right. Can I get rid of this now because we have the...
Sure. Yeah. Now, did you open up the binding context on the content page?
Did I open up the binding context?
Scroll up
on the content page.
Yeah, nope. That's still commented out.
You want me to bring this back?
Yeah.
But you were also saying I was dubbing up on the meowi.
Yeah, you don't need the meowi again. Yep, just say main page.
Just say main page. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if it barks at us.
I'm so excited. Build? Is that? This is, yes, I think that's it.
It is not barking.
Oh no, cannot resolve. It is the same error. Arr, 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 arr.
Looks like you're doing a Russian accent, which is not funny these days.
Oh, was that? It was my that was
Kind
my
of
Italian
sounded like.
pizza maker
Okay, then
accent.
Italian is
Thank
fine.
you for making fun of me. I do my best.
Okay.
I mean, that's what all pizza makers sound like in my brain. Meowi.
It sounded Italian to you, then that's good.
Thanks, Fuel. I'm the best pizza maker ever. I want to try it with the namespace back.
Sure, go ahead, and I'm gonna try.
You're like, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
No. I'm gonna try to look up some syntax while you're doing that.
Let me see if it's still. Yeah, it's definitely still upside down. Main page. So what we are looking into. I want to go back and look at this code real quick while Sam's doing that, because this did fix it, where we were instantiating the variable at the top, and then inside of the constructor, we were then giving it a value. This part, I don't know if that's needed. I think that might be.
Looking at your screen.
Actually, I think that might be exactly what's needed. So let me bring this binding context part back and just make sure I can get it working.
Yeah, the binding context is fine.
Back like that, and then go here, and I'm going to go and comment this out, and then we're going to see. I'm not very confident in my namespace here. I feel like, oh, I'm running the wrong thing. I'm running the wrong thing. Build that one. Thank you. It's
funny.
like just going to build all of them.
Not funny.
What's not funny? That I'm building all the things?
No, you're still running the old one.
What's not funny about that? I'm I'm working over here.
You're still in the MAUI project. I'm sorry, I'm pulling your leg.
Okay, I just wanted to see if instead of using this reusable dynamic way, if I can go ahead and bring back this line on 13.
Yeah, that will work.
And if it will work. That's what I was testing to see if like it'll actually.
And you're building MAUI and not MAUI, right?
Both. They're both building. Lucky you. This is MAUI, and it does not have that binding, but I'm not super confident in my abilities.
Wait, how are you building both? Which one are you at?
Trash. I've got both of them up. See this tab and that tab? This one errored because it's still ticked off at my local.
Try the MAUI build.
I did. That was like 2 seconds ago. I'll try it again, but it's still mad at me. We haven't fixed this error.
That line out. Yeah,
no, that was the other project that I was like testing to see.
I see.
You want me to comment this out though, and then do?
No. We do want it to make it
binding. Work. This guy though, this is the one that I'm super interested in, because I on our old project removed did exactly what you wanted me to do. I removed the content page binding blah blah blahs, and it's still, I cleared the bin. It's still not giving me. This is MAUI running. Hey, MAUI's running, Sam. This one's still not giving me that variable, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong, but MAUI is running. Let's check her out. This one. So this worked. That ran it because it was just mad about the local MAUI main page. It's like
go back to, but you actually haven't done data binding on this, have you? Go back to your code behind.
Go back to my code behind. I had this public string. I haven't done any.
So is
set
this
my label.
This is MAUI, right? And is this working?
No.
Or no?
No.
Okay. Yeah. No, it cannot work because you don't have the binding context.
So I think, and over here, I'm going to grab this binding context because this was the manual way, right, of giving the binding context to label.
Well, it's not manual. It's like you're doing it per view, per control, which is not ideal.
And then my label, that's created here. I need to go into this and attach my label to this somehow so that it knows that it is my label. So I think it's like X name equals my label, and that's how it's attached, I think. And then we're going to go over here and say, hey, Meowi, what's up with you? Can you run? Whoa. I don't know what that was about. Okay. I think this will work because we're attaching my label here and we're binding the context and we're creating something. We're setting it. And I think that's all we need. This is
that should be
superfluous at this point.
The next few things we are going to get into maybe in the next couple of weeks that might melt your brain because it's why is it not working?
I think it's because we have to do the getter setter thing that you taught us. Like, I really think it has to be.
Oh,
I think that has to be. I really, really do.
Yeah, turn that on and then just set the value of something in the constructor, which is public main page.
Can I do this, Sam? Like, is this legit?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, you're setting the getter and setter and then instantiating it right away in the same code. So yeah, it is legit code.
I'm wondering if I can add this part here, like if maybe that was my missing piece that it was so unhappy about.
Yeah, it does need that to, especially the get. But I thought it was implicit, like it'll get it anyways.
Okay. Because if this doesn't work, then we have to set the value after the component's been initialized. Like that's the only other thing, right? Like that's it's not working. So let's go ahead and set it. And
this is a matter of syntax, because like you should be able to instantiate the string after you create it, but you might as well also set something to that.
Let me get rid of the double equals, and then that's all I need to do, right? Just set something here, and then it should. So that is needed. Then that part's needed. The separate pieces. I'm gonna have to look into why it still doesn't know about local, like what I'm doing wrong with that syntax, because I know it's me.
When you're defining a local XML namespace local, it does seem like it needs the CLR namespace. Oh, it needs both the assembly and the CLR namespace. So maybe
does
that's
it?
What it is.
Okay, so let's see if I'm
let me,
here.
Let me give you an example.
If I'm local, that means I need CLR dash. I think it was capital.
No. Hold on.
Oh, it's still ticked off. We should have that though. Like this should be working. And you know what I bet it is? We're going to go and delete that. We're going to manually clean Meowi up. All right, Meowi, move the trash. And go here and run that again.
What are you running and what did you change?
So what the flip? Meowi is still not working.
Let me see what you changed. So close down Meowi. Get rid of the local for a second. Get rid of the local.
Oh yeah? Get rid of it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
All right, so you got nothing else here in your, go back to the code behind. So you got a public string.
Hang on, let me check this one real quick because we had it working over here, and I'm wondering if I just my label, binding context, something. I mean, we did all of that, and then we had public string something set get binding context. Are we? Oops, sorry. Did we? This dot my label equals binding.
When you're defining public string something, put a space after the something because you have it like right next to it. The get.
1 second. I'm gonna put these side by side so I can brain this. You're saying when I define public, what'd you say?
Which I'm getting confused. Which one is Mary on the right?
Yep.
Yeah. You see that public string something when you first define it, put a space between the something and the get.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do that. Okay. And then you got something that you're setting to why will you not print, and this my label binding context is this. So that's all fine. So save that file. Go back to your XAML for a second. All right.
And
so you got.
then
Let's look at the label.
the label
Scroll
down
down.
here, and it's
Yep.
got X name label.
No, that should be right. That should be right. So
Okay.
try running MAUI again.
Let's try running her again. Let's see if we can get it to appear. That'd be awesome. So, do you deploy to the App Store often?
I haven't in the last year or so.
Okay.
Because I used to make apps for the App Store. I haven't maintained any of them, so some of them are just old. But this app that I'm working on, The Sense of MAUI, I do want to put it in the App Store.
Is it a painful process?
Yes, and they're trying to make it easier, but yeah.
Oh my God! It was because we didn't have the space. Are you serious? Are you kidding?
Could be because like it's trying.
No, that's what we changed, right? Like that is what we changed. Oh my gosh, I feel so silly.
Now, in the chat comments, you might see me posting one line of code. So just don't touch anything. Just leave it as is. But see, look at the last comment I posted.
Can you? Okay.
Oh, you want me to?
Yeah. If you put it here, I can copy it. Otherwise, I will type it out.
Yeah, let's type it up because I posted that from a different machine.
Okay.
So now go
we're gonna put this over here, and then we're gonna go to the XAML, and we're gonna go up. Whoa, let's make this a little bit longer. Okay. So you
right
have
after X class, do XML namespace local. I can tell you what you're typing. XML namespace colon local equals. Now double quotes open CLR namespace. Colon.
XAML, what is that? Samples?
No. We're not copying that. CLR namespace and then colon. And then type in MAUI. Yep, exactly. And then semicolon. And then we do assembly equals MAUI.
Oh, not quotey quotey. Meowi.
It doesn't need quotes anymore. Okay, just that. Let's see if it works at you if you try to do a build of this.
You want me to uncomment this though?
No, not yet.
No. Okay. I'm gonna do the build, and close the old one that did print the variable. And I'm gonna close out this old project too, because I think I've got all of the pieces over from it. So
you have gotten the basic working. You had a label which you named and you're setting the binding context. Now we're trying to do it a little bit more globally, so you don't have to keep repeating that binding context line over and over again for every piece of UI.
Okay.
So we're trying to set the binding context locally to the entire page. So when you, oh, there you go, it is working. So okay, so close this.
Do you think we can now uncomment this?
Open that up, and don't do MAUI anymore. Just local main page. Let's see if that works.
And then on this point, should I comment this out too?
Nope. Just keep it as is. Just run it. Let's see if it still works.
You want to see if we get those errors, those gnarly fun errors?
Yeah.
Any errors, darling? Do you have any errors?
You see that when it's doing the build, on top it says .NET build. Yeah. So that's how you know where it is. It's actually trying to, do the build, compile, and then it's going to say, like, I'm going to talk to Xcode, and then it's going to say, I'm trying to find your, deployable thing. Okay, so we're still good.
We're still good. Right. Can I do it? Can I do it?
Hold on. Close. Make sure you close the app that was running. Did you close the app?
I will close it in a second. I will close it. Yes, I will. I have not closed it. No, I haven't.
Okay, don't touch anything in your. No. Don't touch anything on your XAML. Yeah. Make sure you close the app. Don't touch anything on your XAML. You did
Okay.
take out the label.
You want me to put this back?
Yeah, put it back.
You want this back in your life?
Yeah. Yep. Keep that. Now go to your code behind page for a second, and just comment out that binding context line.
Okay.
So we are breaking the glue, which you had explicitly added for that label. So save the file and let's try running it.
But this line right here, it's the same breaking the glue as this, taking this out.
No,
because if we're not defining my label, then this has nothing to bind to. It doesn't know who my label is. It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Right? So
you still have the label called my label, but we have broken the glue by taking out the binding context line. But my hope is we have added the glue at a much higher level, and it's going to trickle down for the whole page. So let's try it. It's getting, some of this is just getting the syntax right for, people who do XAML. Like sometimes we don't, care about these little things because you do it once and you forget, and you move on. You do the rest of your UI. So let's see if this is still working.
It says it did. I do not see it. It's still thinking. Did it pop up somewhere mysteriously? And it's like, is this normal for it to take this long? Like it said, build succeeded, but we don't see it. We're not worried. There's like a hidden build somewhere with no view. I don't. Yeah, she's not. She's not over here. She's not over here. That's weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we worried? Should we be scared? I don't know. I don't know what to do. I can clear out the bin and try to see if it actually builds again, but it keeps doing this weird invisibuild. Okay, so it recreated bin, so that it is doing that. And it says, thanks, fuel. I'm ready to panic. I don't know, Sam. It's gone. Hang on. Maybe if I put this back, it will be less angry and actually show us the view. That would be hilarious if for some reason that was. Yeah, it is weird.
No, it cannot be anything to do with your code.
No? You don't think so?
No.
I have to run very soon. 20 minutes past my deadline.
Yeah, me too. Right before, I think Alyssa and me had the same thing. Or I don't know what you're running for. I'm going to run for my Kraken to come back home.
This is weird, guys. It was weird. I don't know. But I feel like I'm going to restart and try again.
Yeah,
is what I'm going to do.
Overall, you understand what we did today. We explicitly set the binding to a label, and we got it to work, but we are trying to set it at a higher level so we can do it like label 1 could be bound to something, but label 2 could be bound to something too, right? And then you don't have to set that binding context over and over again.
I think, but like, just so I'm clear, do I get to remove the binding context from both places?
You will only have it on the content page on the XAML because you're setting the binding context of the entire page to that one class, right? So then you don't have to have binding context in your code behind over and over again.
I gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a variable to show up in my MAUI app.
This like is how sad it is. We are just
from the source. No, that was like the goal of today, like to see a variable show up in a template. Like you did it, and I was like, dude, like the get set thing. That's the weird thing. Like that's a required part.
No, but essentially you can understand why, and next week it's going to be even more, apparent why that is so. Why? Because so right now you have something set to a piece of text, and it's showing up on a label, right? Mm-hmm. But while the app is running, what if you went ahead or during the course of the app, what if somebody changed that string something to say something else? It will actually not update the UI. Because it doesn't have two-way data binding built in. There is something of an interface that you have to implement so that you raise an event. And that's where the getters and setters are important, because you need to let the UI thread know that something changed, and then it has to update the UI.
I'm excited. This is cool. And I don't know, desktop, it's a whole new world. I'm actually, like, in my spare time, just going to dig into the layouts that you were teaching me about and just trying to play around with them and see if I can, horribly break the app again. So it'll be fine. Thank you so much for joining me today, Sam, and chat. You guys were fire. I hope you all have a wonderful, either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on what day it is for you. But well, I think we're ready to sign off. Sending you all love. Mwah. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.